Welcome to the Agile Localization podcast by Crowdin, where we unpack the strategies and solutions that make localization fast, scalable, and efficient. I'm your host, Stefan Yui. Good morning from the Dallas Metroplex. We're here for the Agile Localization podcast by Crowdin. We are here with the wonderful Kim Tran, who's Director of Digital Experience for Riskified, and she's calling in from Atlanta. Kim, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick to our audience?
For sure. I am from Atlanta, of course. I work in the web space for maybe 15 years between different SaaS companies and also a few in the insurance space. My specialty has always been in the web management, web development side of things. This is kind of my specialty. I can tell you all about it.
Yeah, and you're in digital experience, so that touches localization and global exposure, so to speak. So let's talk a little bit about vendor selection and technology fit. I want to know specifically why Riskified chose Crowdin and how it integrates with their existing tech stack. When you started the multilingual website project, what were your must-have criteria in selecting TMS or a localization platform?
Yeah. The biggest one is actually pricing for us. We do have a pricing um, budget that we're trying to stick with. The other one is also integrations. We want to make sure that um, our WordPress CMS can integrate with the TMS that we're going to select. The UI, like we're looking for something that's more easy to use and easy to um, to scale and customize. Last but not least is also the customer support side. It's really important to me that we get the support that we need in the timely manner that we need. And we're very happy with Crowdin, and they've literally checked all our boxes. Have been a fantastic partner.
It's great to hear. What maybe I can dig a little bit deeper in this. So, what made us stand out compared to other vendors? You think?
Few of them. I think one was I actually surprisingly shocked at how um, affordable the platform that we selected. Um, um, we expected. I mean, other vendors that we talked to some of the top tier TMS out there, and just the subscription itself was 4 or 5 times as much as what we selected with. Or we go with Crowdin, and Crowdin did everything that we actually needed. So I think that's one. The other one was we had like a dedicated support who were able to quickly get on a call, talk to our team, figure out a solution, and then move and then move forth. So it was just, and the integration was so much easier than some other POC integrations that we try to integrate with our system, and it was a lot less painful. It's just like talk to my dev team, have it integrated, and then we're jamming. So it was really wonderful. It was pleasant, relatively painless process. I think on top of that too is, of course, while we go into integration, this is like the first time we've ever done anything like this on our side as well. We have never had a TMS um, integrated our platform here at Ristify, and so of course we run into challenges, right? But the whole point is that we were able to reach out, book a meeting, hop on a call, and be able to sort it out and figure it out, and then move through it. So I have nothing but good things to say about Crowdin.
This is one of the biggest pleasures of working for Crowdin, and I have a lot of conversations with customers as well. Is that usually when I talk to people, I hear nothing but great things like this, and it's just a joy to be able to be in a PR position in that sense. Because I don't have to field any complaints. People are very, very happy. If you had to give any advice to another enterprise starting the same vendor evaluation, what would be your key tip?
I would I would say that they should definitely do a free trial, proof of concept integration. Make sure that what they're saying they can do actually work and integrate with your CMS. We have um, tried to do a POC with other company before, and it was unsuccessful. It took a really long time. One thing, something came up and it's broken, and they fixed it and something else broke, right? So it's just, to me, it's like it's not meant to be that way. It should be, a lot less painful to integrate. So I do think like just making sure that, other vendors, what they're telling you is verifiable. Because once you sign the dotted line, you're kind of stuck, and you're not gonna be able to get your project out the door if all you do is run into technical issues all the time.
It's the old trust but verify, I hear.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about the cross functional collaboration and the way localization's been set up at Riskified. I'm interested in knowing a little bit more about that and about who was involved and what departments align, and the lessons maybe that you can learn about setting up a collaboration with different departments. So maybe you can tell us which internal teams at Riskified were involved in making your multilingual website a reality.
Yeah, for sure. Quite a few team. So my team head of the project. We have CMS managers, SEO, and also our web development team is also under my department. And so the core team is us. We're the one that runs the project. The other team that we looped in are our regional sales team, our design team, and I think like the one team that I make sure also people don't forget about them. It's actually our marketing operations, right? The folks that we integrate with our email automations. So for us, it's HubSpot, and so even if you translate the page, you still need to translate the form. And then of course the form sends an automated email. So all of the whole entire chain and workflow like also need to be taken into account. So it's quite a lot of people involved. Including of course like our external translator that we brought in to help us.
Yeah, and you're the ringleader. That's not always an easy task. How do you align these different teams that have very different priorities, from tech to marketing to regional?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I mean, now that I'm done, I'm actually going, wow, I wonder how I did it.
You just dove in, but certainly you had some kind of a strategy. What can you divulge that other people can learn from?
Yeah, I mean what I've learned from it is, of course, I think in the beginning, of course, it's just like having a very like a at least a detailed checklist of all the things and different teams, different things that you need to consider. Not just the technical side of things, but also like um also like take into consideration our internal reviewer. So I think like taking a step back, the way that I I think about the translation now going forward is that each languages I think of them like a separate project. The reason is they each of them have their unique requests that's different. They're also running at a different pace. We require internal resources of ours to verify as well. So the way that um, it seems to manage very well is that every language has their own schedule. And then I think the learning that we also that I've learned is that you know set a realistic timeline, but also be firm about it. So, for example, if we send the translation over to another external vendors to review, because we do AI translation, first human review translation, and then it goes back to our internal team to translate. So that first two projects relatively good. We align with our external vendors and just make sure they're cool with the timeline that we set. The last one is a little bit more crunchy, right? Because it's internal resources. And so the way I handle it, of course, I give them a full heads up. And then sometime when I need to, I'll reach out to the regional directors, like from the sales team, because we need local people to be able to verify the translations correct. And then, give them a realistic timeline. And if, for example, whatever happened, if they couldn't meet that timeline, then we're going live. We're going back. We're syncing it back to our system. We're going through the QA process. We're going live without that final review. And if they caught something in the future, like, oh, we would like to have this update change, no problem. We'll send it back to translation. But this way, we can make things move forward. And I think setting that hard timeline actually, you know, make them say, hey, when you guys don't review and we're going live, this is gonna be on you. We asked you guys for this, right? So I think that seems to work really well. Especially when it's creeping near the end of the timeline. They're like, oh, we gotta go ahead and hurry up and get this done for Kim before she goes live. So that's
I
kind
have
of how
no
we work.
doubt after 10 minutes of conversation with you that you drive a tight ship and that you were able to enforce that system. It's one thing to corral the troops that are working on the project and that have already bought into the whole process, so to speak. Let's talk a little bit about getting executive buy-in and sponsorship. How do you ensure that you get buy-in across the company, especially with the higher ups?
Yeah, good question. So I think this one's a little bit easier for us. The reason is that our sales team been asking for this for a while, for years actually. They wanted a localized content in their region. They wanted certain languages, and I think that we just wasn't there yet. And then now that we are, um, what we had to do to get funding for it, is we actually had to do my team, myself, have to go in front of our company, what we call a Shark Tank. We we did a marketing Shark Tank here. Like, it's not easy to get funding, so we have to win the project
Yeah.
and then the sharks are from not just a couple of folks; they're from people across the business, sales leaders, finance leader, partnership leaders, like folks across the business, not just the go-to-market team, but across, you know, other other departments who were sharks on our Shark Tank, right? So you gotta go and you gotta pitch the project, you gotta win it, and then once you win it, then you get buy-in and you have funding. So that's what happened.
That's fascinating. I assume you have to demonstrate return on investment while you're making that pitch to the Shark Tank. What are some of the metrics that you researched or put in your presentation, if I can be so bold to ask? Because that's an exercise I assume a lot of people, maybe there's not a lot of Shark Tanks exactly like you have, but I'm sure that a lot of people face the same challenge.
Uh, Let me try to think. I think if I remember correctly, we definitely said web traffic and impressions, and also can't give you an exact number, but because kind of top of my head, don't remember the exact number. I think it was around 30% increase in impressions, and then somewhere around that for traffic. And I do believe that we also know that if we can get that through, that we do expect to see more contact sales requests coming from the local languages. But it's literally from this is gonna go up to where we start, which is zero. We don't have any. so so it's not,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it wasn't a hard sale at
It
all, I think, for
wasn't a
us.
hard
No.
sell at all from that perspective. I see. What tools or processes help to keep everyone on the same page? Or is this something that is being coordinated over instant messaging? Are you sending out emails? Is there a special Slack channel? How does it work?
Correct. There's a Slack channel.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. So we use Slack, Google Sheets, a lot of we do also weekly, meeting just to say, hey, everybody, how's everybody going? Is everybody running into issues and problems? So I think there's multiple Slack channel. We have a general Slack channel that we just let like marketing team or top leader know, how we're going. And then there are separate Slack channel per languages. So those are the one that we directly communicate with either sales folks that's supporting that translation and the linguist that's supporting the translation. That helped move things along quickly.
Great. What's one collaboration lesson you do differently in hindsight? You think what's a piece of advice you can give leaders on fostering teamwork in multilingual projects that you think you could have done better in hindsight?
Mm,
Or you did
gosh,
everything
question.
great?
Well, I think the challenges I had is more of a technical
Mm.
process that I didn't understand when we first start this project. So I can just dive into that. So for example, um, when our Japanese team super excited, want to go ahead and hit the ground running. So we actually started the Japanese translation directly on our website, WordPress site early, and before we selected the vendor, right? So once we select the Crowdin, and then they tell us, well, this is kind of how the process is, right? English is your source of truth language. You send everything over, and they were like, uh-oh. We have a bunch of Japanese page already translated. How do we send it over? So, we work with our Crowdin technical support, talk with our lead dev, came back with a solution. The long story short is the solution is he had to migrate, took the content and extract them from our CMS and send it over to Crowdin, and then our Crowdin folks embed like pulled it back into the memory bank so that when we resend the pages, it sync up. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to get us going, so we didn't lose all of the translation that we send. So I think, like, the learning for me is more of just a technical, like, understanding integration side of it. So that, you know, that was a big learning because it was we're like we were kinda stressed out a bit because we don't know how to fix this for a while. Um, the other one, the collaboration, I think the biggest one, is just I think just having, like, regular catch up with the team and just making sure everybody's, like, pacing, and then on top of that, I do join, like, sales call where I'm like, "Hey, you guys, you know, you guys, here's the progress, here's, like, the how much translation we're going, and this is, like," and I give them, like, quarterly update, let them know, this is how you're pacing against other languages, other team that's doing this. And then on top of that too is results, you know? Who are the account that we see now that's coming onto the sites? So give them a lot of stats, a lot of data, and sometimes, pretty much like being very upfront with them, say, hey, we're not doing this for our health. We're doing this because you guys asked us.
Yeah, yeah. It's and it's interesting that maybe some languages need some more hand-holding, but because they're more complex, how do you balance different language-specific approaches across markets? Is that something that you would pay more attention to right now? That you would give people a heads up about these languages or the languages to pay attention to because they're going to be more complex in your experience?
Yeah, so I've never done this before. So I learned a few things. Japanese. So apparently the AI translation for Japanese doesn't work according to our sales team. It wasn't up to par. So we end up skipping AI translation, go directly to human translation. So our Japanese right now is the one that tend to be a little more strict in terms of like the translations. The other one was French. Actually, French translation seems to be a bit quirky. Like we also had to had someone who really understands the product go back and just review everything. So I think so those two seems to be the language that we our sales team's complaining about.
Yeah. Were there any UX challenges that emerged from launching
Yes.
your localized websites?
Yep. So yeah, so we've learned that German translation is a lot longer than our English translation. So, yeah, so what I mean is it breaks some of the components that we have, right? So it doesn't look good in it. It doesn't wrap well. It just from a design perspective, it just doesn't work. So we how try to solve for it is we try to see if there's a shorter translator that can work. And if that doesn't work, we actually have to go in through code. So we have to put a ticket with our developers and have them like readjust and make the update that can work on the English side, but also can work for like other language, including German. But German is the one we're trying to solve for.
Yeah, one of the areas that I hear people talk about a lot nowadays is search optimization, and that's not just SEO anymore. It's AI search optimization as well. Did that present any hurdles, and what can you give us as tips with regards to that particular issue?
Yeah, so the I think the only I mean, I would say the only hurdle I would have that we actually like run into is more of like we brought on an SEO company who would help us, but it just seems like there's some maybe understanding challenges in terms of how our CMS work and how that work with Crowdin. So so I think there was just more training and learning that had to happen, which I guess I didn't quite expect, right? A lot of like even so the SEO translations and update have to happen in Crowdin. It's not going to happen on our CMS. The reason is we send everything over from a content perspective and it needs to be synced back. So just I think just trying to get them to understand how how it work, where to identify the SEO content that looks the same as every other content. Um, it's just there's a learning curve, and I think like that's for me that seems to be the biggest challenge. It's just the learning curve and then additional training and support for them. And I would also say yes, to additional training and support for all of the different team that have to like work within the system. I don't think it's complicated. I think it's just getting people to understand a new way of doing something and some people learned it quickly and other people didn't.
Yeah. Once you launch these, did you launch all the languages at once, by the way? Because we didn't really talk about that. So you launched all the languages at once. How quickly did you begin seeing results in organic traffic after you launched the different languages?
About yeah, so about 2 months. And I think like the way that we handle the launch is that we we call them like a phase one where we selected these are the pages that needs to go live enough to look like a proper website, right? So the phase one has I think maybe like 25 pages, I can't remember. Um, but there's enough pages there for us to say, hey, this looked like a proper website when we go live, right? So when we launched them all at the same time, and then we turn on our a global drop down for the language and the whole thing. So once we launched them, um, then we go to phase two, which now is a little bit um more customizable. You would so, like I would go to our Spanish team and go, hey, you know, folks from the Spanish region, right? Which type of content or which type of like product solutions, industries that you guys find to be the most relevant for your industry, we can go ahead and start a translation there first, right? And our Japanese team have something different, so we can do more of a like um, more tailored requests, if you would, for the translation going forward. And we like since we have gone live, like it's been maybe it's gonna be like by the end of the year, it'll be probably a year and I don't know, a little bit over a year and a half. We would complete I think 396 pages that's gonna go live. We are on track to hit that by the end of the year. So it's actually it's going along really, really well, to be honest with you. Like if we don't have other projects we have to handle and this is all we do, we can push this down even faster. But this is this is the rate that we can operate without having to scale my team and bring in more people.
Yeah. Which market or language showed the fastest traction? Which market has the best results so far?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Have you heard that too? Have you heard that from other company or are we the only one?
Yeah, I think maybe the Japanese are very, very responsive to being addressed in their own language and with their own cultural sensitivities. So I think it's very, very important in Japan. You're kind of confirming that. Would you agree with me?
No, I agree. And I think something else too. I think like definitely the direct human translation probably play a part. The area that you mentioned also, they also want to read own language. I think also we had a fantastic um, sales person who helped us review, and he did a fantastic job. So I think all of those together add to like this phenomenal results. And yeah, no, we're seeing contact sales requests from our Japanese sites, you know, coming directly in, and it's we've don't have that ever before. So this one is really, really great.
Awesome. And how did your stakeholders react? Were they very happy with the work that you've done? Did it get
Yeah.
you a promotion?
Uh, we can go back to the promotion part. But no, so I didn't get a promotion. But our sales team, our sales team appreciated. We had shout outs and thank yous from them. They appreciate the work that we provided. So I think to me is like, be able to deliver something that's really fantastic and bring value to the business and being recognized for it. To me, it's all you can really ask for sometimes.
Now that the multilingual site is live, this is a project that continues to live on somewhat. I would think what's next on your roadmap for international efforts at Riskified?
We just recently integrated a search AI feature onto our localized website. So you can go onto our local our language website, be it German, Japanese, whatever, and you can type questions directly into our search, and then the AI would translate and give it back to you. So that's something we just recently rolled out, and I'm like super excited to see how much traction we get. But I think from an AI integration, like we already did it for the English site, now we're doing it for the other one. We started our localization, our SEO localization, so we're starting to work through that. And I think the other one that I'm also excited about is creating more of a like a digital report. So, a lot of time back in the day, we have like reports on PDF. So now we're not doing it anymore. We're moving PDF into a digital HTML format, so it can be easily crawl. And then once we have that in English, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna send them all to translations. Yeah, so we're gonna be able to move, fairly quickly now that we have all the integration, done, and and um and everybody, is running like a well-oiled machine. So we just go.
So many companies are looking to integrate AI into their workflows for obvious reasons. Uh, do you plan on integrating AI more extensively in the future? You keeping this hybrid approach, and what role might AI play in personalization of your content in the future, and how might it change your multilingual strategy? That's like four questions in one. You pick what you want to answer first. Sorry.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, gosh, I think I mean, it's all very good question. I think the AI space is moving really, really fast. From what we're seeing right now, we still think that, quality proprietary content is still really important and relevant content that we know because, we're Riskified and this is what we do, and those kind of content that comes from us, I still think is huge. With the AI, I think like we'll start with the translation bit. The AI translation, yes, it's better, it's getting better, but it's not quite there where I can like let them run free and just like believe everything they're gonna, say, right? So I would still stick to the hybrid approach. And also I think at the end of the day, like we're a publicly traded company, anything on our website, like we cannot just let it, be up there, right? I don't know, so I think that is all we always gonna have someone, keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
So hybrid
Maybe.
approach.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so hybrid approach, and then I think from like an AI I mean, we already like on our side pretty like there's so many, so it's not just us as a company that's doing a bunch of AI integration. a lot of our marketing vendors, any of the marketing vendor really, they all have been incorporating AI into their workflow, right? So I think now that's just how it is. Like everybody integrating with AI. I The way I look at it is more like enhancement of tools that we need, right? So how do we use it to, you know, do our job better, faster, and quicker? Um, so I think just I look at it as another, fantastic tool that we can use. I do think though, like when it comes to localizations and what we do, I do think that that you know you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Gemini, and they'll tell you all these great ideas and strategies and things that you should do to like improve your bottom line. Uh, but at the end of the day, you still have to go and execute that, right? So if I think that you're having the right technology stack today is probably even more important than ever because you're in the localization space. You know what I'm talking about. If you run into a hurdle where a CMS cannot integrate properly because of whatever issues that is it just doesn't work, full stop is over, right? You can't get through it. So to me, it's having the right CMS, having the right technology in place to move forward and execute on your idea is so much more important than ever before.
Yeah. Maybe one last question before we part ways. As a digital marketing leader yourself, how do you see your role evolving in the age of global AI and localization?
Uh, I think we have to be agile, and I think we have to be able to learn quickly and be flexible and be able to move forward fast, right? And also just know that um, the world of search and LLM company, they can also change in a dime. So you can like move forward with certain strategy, but then they're gonna take a left turn and you're gonna be, screwed because, oh gee, they're just saying recently that Reddit is no longer as important as a source that they pull to provide answers anymore, right? So I think gosh, I wish I have a better answer. I just feel like you're gonna have to just be really just keep yourself educate yourself on what's going on. But I think like go ahead and make sure test to verify it. There's a lot of noise, a lot of people claiming a lot of things, a lot of people saying SEO is dead, right? So I think for me is it's you got to do some testing. You're gonna have to find test and verify and then stay on course. And I think at the end of the day, like, I think like, don't forget the goal of your business. What are you trying to do here? You know?
Continuous and agile learning to stay abreast. Kim, thank you so very much for spending some time with us this morning. Wish you a wonderful day in Atlanta, and until we meet again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on today's episode of the Agile Localization Podcast by Crowdin. We hope you found it as insightful as we did. If you enjoyed today's conversation and want to learn more about how leading companies are managing their multilingual content efficiently, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. Thank you for tuning in. For more resources on how to streamline your localization process, visit crowdin.com. See you next time.